Namaha. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Brahma Mira Striparan Takare. Banu Shashi Mamisito. Buddha Shah Guru Shah Shukra. Shani Rahu Keteva. Sarve Graha Shantikara Bhavantu. Om. Greetings and welcome to another episode of Cosmic Kev 100, your weekly video astrozine that comes out every Friday, Pacific time, and from Chico, California to you. If you're looking at this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to me. Hit the like button, the bell for notifications. I love it when you share, and I appreciate all your comments, all of you kind people that have been commenting over the last few weeks. It's great to see you, to hear your input. So this is for the weekend beginning November 4th, 2022. And we're looking at the sky. We would see the moon in the constellation of Pisces, and the part of Pisces that the moon is in, depending on what part of day you're watching this, if it's in the morning, it's going to be in Purva Bhadrapada, which is a funeral pyre, and by the late, by afternoon, it'll be in Uttara Bhadrapada, which is the other part of the funeral pyre. So we'll talk about Purva Bhadrapada it's ruled by Ajakapada, which I believe is another guise of Shiva. And one of the symbols is a sword. It's a Jupiter-ruled nakshatra, which means it's 3/4 air, Aquarius, and 1/4 water, Pisces. And this is like the sidereal zodiac. And so this is a place where we're getting ready to let go of the body, so to speak, and open ourselves up to more enlightenment. And when we get to, later on this afternoon to Uttara Bhadrapada, that's ruled by Saturn. And Saturn ruled nakshatras Pushyama and Uttara Bhadra or Uttara Bhadrapada, and there's another one here I'm forgetting, but it should come to me eventually. Anurada. They all have really good results, and so things are about to improve. In a way, it's like Uttara Bhadrapada is like the funeral pyre is just burnt out now, and we're dealing with that reality of facing the past life that we lived and the new life that we're going into. Sometimes they have two heads or a twin, and the ruling deity is Aribundya, which is like the serpent in the sky, and it's sort of like the serpent of the waters, and it's about that cosmic principle, and shedding our skin into that new life after the old life. So that's where the moon is in Vedic astrology, the sidereal, more astronomically correct astrology. Now, the tropical zodiac, which is more popular in Western culture, is known about because you can kind of nail your birthday, and it's based on seasons though rather than constellations. It's super important people know that, because if you're looking out in the sky, you're not going to find the moon in in Aries if you're looking at it tonight. You're going to find it in the constellation of Pisces. But we have the moon in tropical zodiacs going into Aries later on, and so it brings on challenges, readiness for a fight, kind of thing. And I mean, one reason I'll say that, it's not like I never want to predict conflict really, but this has been a heavy couple of weeks. We're in between eclipses, and the lunar eclipse is actually more intense than the solar eclipse was, because the lunar eclipse actually is closer to the nodes of the moon are closer to where actually the sun and the moon are. And so Tuesday night, or rather it's not Tuesday night, it's really Monday night, Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning, a little bit after 3 in the morning, the moon will peak in fullness, so that's November 8th, and that will be in the Bharani Nakshatra, the moon will be. And that's about youthfulness, and that's about the yoni, women, and birth and death, and what affects that, and creativity, and what we get obsessed about. It's also like an election day in the United States, and our system's super tamasic. It's really dense, and it's run by money. It's not a place where you're very often likely to see, you'll see justice fall more easily on the largest laps. Let's put it this way. There's a lot of manipulation from big pharma, and then after that probably big tech, and then probably big oil. It kind of goes in that pattern. So the media is now much more owned by big tech because everyone's got a phone. Everyone's like on their computer and things. And the sun will be in Vishaka, so trying to take over areas, and how many areas of our lives have been taken over, even since the pandemic. I think a lot of that will be looked at, and I'm sure that this election will reflect the issues of reproductive choice, of course, because of Bharani, and but also I think that the issue of how mothers aren't really supported. I think that has way more to do with people terminating pregnancies and wanting to be like the big boys. We need the mother. We need nurturing. We need the feminine. And how we've destroyed this world, it's just really hard to look at. So in Western astrology, it's a full moon in Taurus, which actually is a pretty good moon. Taurus moon would be considered an exalted moon in the tropical zodiac. Sun in Scorpio, what I've noticed though is like when you get Scorpio and Taurus together in the tropical zodiac, you get an incredible amount of creativity, you get an incredible amount of lust and kind of sexiness and stuff. So, it's I call it's like the Kundalini Express, and it only happens twice a year because you'll have the full moon in Scorpio and Taurus time, and then you have the full moon in Taurus and Scorpio time. With that said, we also have, Mars retrograde, and it's in the lunar mansion or nakshatra of Mrigashira, which is actually Mars ruled. So Mars is, even though, it's in Gemini in both systems, it's pretty powerful right now. And I looked at, at least on the West Coast, what this chart looked like, and it was kind of like, Virgo, Lagna, and Vedic, and it looked like there was a lot of transformation associated with it. There was a lot of stuff in the 8th house, and so it's just sort of, we just sort of have to kind of keep it together. 8th house and 2nd house. A lot of money issues, all those things really are within this full moon. And, it's, I don't know, it's like having election days on Mars days. It's like a fight. Every election is like a fight day. It's not bringing us peace or resolution, and that really discourages me. Of course, you can vote by mail now, so you don't have to fall prey to that type of thing. Anyhow, enough said. Sign by sign, we're going to go through your horoscope, tropical zodiac. If you know your rising sign, that's going to be a better measure than anything. Next, probably your moon sign, and then, if you don't know anything but your sun sign, you can do that. So Aries. Welcome your horoscope. Mars in the 3rd house. Mars in the 3rd house is about courage. It's about being effective in your community and having a positive impact. It's about siblings. I think Mars, since it's male, particularly relates to brothers. So what's your relationship to your brothers? This full moon, it's going to bring out your personal issues of family, money, issues that affect your voice, your mouth, your teeth, your neck, because it's second house. Sun is transiting your 8th house. So there's a lot of transformation, and this is a time where you can call on other people for money and for support and for help, and maybe your spouse is doing better. That's common with a period like this. Greetings, Taurus, and welcome to your horoscope. So for Taurus, what we're looking at is, well, this moon that's full is right next to Uranus. It's right next to the north node of the moon, Rahu. Both Rahu and Uranus, north node of the moon, have kind of an association with Aquarius, eccentricity and movement and protest and all kinds of, sometimes exciting things that are liberating and genius, and sometimes things that are a little bit quirky and shocking and possibly even disturbing. So, we got a lot to kind of look at. So if you're like someone born in like early May, I'd say, this isn't like necessarily the most peaceful time, but it is in a sense in that love is there for you. Venus is in your 7th house with the sun, and Mercury's there too, and it's a time for negotiation. It's a time to realize what you're really passionate about. Mars in your 2nd house, you just got to be careful not to speak too angrily. It's a good time to sell your weapons, lay down your sword and shield down by the riverside. I think that'll help. Right, here we go. Greetings, Gemini. Welcome to your horoscope. Well, what a dance it's been, right? Especially, I would think, the earlier half of Gemini. There's been a lot of excitement, and there's been an element of destruction, and even in this path that's really mostly just about curiosity and wanting to fulfill what we're passionate about. And that doesn't always get to happen that way, and sometimes we lose our head over things. And what we really want is that nectar of spiritual bliss, comes right behind our third eye when we're having like a Kundalini awakening or something, or just a really good prayer meditation practice of rejoicing. That's sort of what we're striving for right now. So where does Scorpio fall in the world of Gemini? Well, Scorpio falls in the 6th house, so it's like working on health issues. You want to be healthy. We're getting into mid-fall now, and it's like we have to get our health up so we can make it through the winter pretty healthy. Mercury's there. Mercury rules health, so Mercury's advice is helping you. We want to look nice. Venus is there, so we want to look nice at work. The sun's there, so we might have to deal with authorities at work right now. But overall, you're going to be intelligent, you're going to be peaceful, you're going to make the right decision. Moon's in the 12th house. It's a house of loss, so maybe some things you were hoping would happen in the election aren't going to happen. And we have to just face that. I don't think anybody, no matter what side of the two-headed snake with the same tail you're on, I'm referring to the elephant and jackass parties. Yeah, I get it, I want the environment to be good. I'll have to admit that. And I want people to have choices with their bodies, but it just seems like it's interesting how people have choices on their bodies on one issue, but they won't give them choices on the body on another issue. So I'm not really sure, about this whole thing, some people are very dead sure. Well, that's dead sure is dead crazy. We always need to keep an open mind, folks. And dead sure is also dead. I had some really open-minded friends that became super close-minded once this whole social engineering experiment started. Greetings, Cancer. Welcome to your horoscope. Anyhow, your key phrase is I feel. And Scorpio is a really good sign for you. It's in your 5th house, so that opens your heart. That puts you in touch with children. It puts you in touch with your creative projects, things you love to do, and those things should be good. Moon's in Taurus. That's an exalted moon. It's in your 11th house. So, I mean, you're like one of those people that'll probably be like partying on Monday night. You'll be like, yeah, I feel this full moon coming on and I'm doing great, you know. And, you know, the thing is like this full moon is peaking at 3 in the morning Pacific time. You're going to have calendars that are made in England, calendars that are made in the East Coast, and they're going to say a different time. And I meet so many people on the West Coast that are like, oh no, my calendar says it's at this time, and they don't realize that their calendar was made somewhere else. So it's like, people do a little bit of investigation. If you just keep looking at information on the surface, oh my goodness, yes, I know. It is not going to help you. It is, it actually could get you in a lot of trouble. And so, that's why I love little kids. You're okay as a little kid not knowing, or really old people. If you're really old, you don't have to be responsible for all this garbage anymore, you know? And so we have to get to that place to return to innocence, really. And Cancer, I know you love that stuff, but I think you're going to go to a party and have fun either Monday or Tuesday night. Somehow that's working for you. And it's not, you know, it's not a good night to party, I get it. We might party on the weekend. That looks good too. You know, tonight looks fun, or at least this afternoon. All right, we're going over to Leo land here. Greetings, Leo. Welcome to your horoscope. Sun's in Scorpio. It's your 4th house. 4th house is ancestry, where you're coming from, where you're going. I have a lot of Leo friends that really like Scorpio. I know. It's like, well, I mean, I've also said, like, a lot of Leo friends I know, they're afraid of Scorpio because it's like water's the only thing that can put out fire. They're like, oh my gosh, no. But because it's sort of like Leo's sort of like the producer, and Scorpio's kind of like the creator or the creatress. And so it's like you kind of need people that are behind the scenes that have ideas that just have a creative flow, you know. And Scorpio's known for that creative flow. You look at musical artists like Adam Ant or Simon Le Bon from Duran Duran, or Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, Dickie Betts from the Allman Brothers. I mean, that's just like to name a few. There is this incredible need to create or procreate in Scorpio. And so like now Sun's in the 4th house, it's more like you kind of want to improve your home environment, you want to check in with your parents, if you still have them, honor older adults. This is also a house that can deal with fixed assets too. It's a sort of a house where we find our happiness and how we end up eventually relating to the other world. And so it starts with our roots, you know, our history. Who was our family? Where are they from? And if we go far enough back, there's probably someone that's like you. There's probably several that are like you. And so getting into your roots, and this full moon, well, it's really in your midheaven. So if things seem a little wacky at work on Monday and Tuesday, yeah, well, it comes to understanding. This is an eclipse full moon, folks, and this eclipse is a lot more on than the eclipse we had with the new moon. And I'm glad nothing bad had happened to anybody so far that I've seen. And so I'm like, hey, yay, forward and onward. Hello, Virgo. Virgo, welcome to your horoscope. All right, so, you know, Scorpio works pretty well for you. It's a 3rd house relationship, so, you know, it's a Mercury kind of house anyhow. It's about communication. And Virgo wants to talk about deep stuff. You know, you want to talk about foundational stuff. You want to talk about stuff like medicine and you know, people that have been hurt by medicine. You know, I have a daughter that works in the pharmacy, and she says it's so easy for people to make mistakes. They really have to be precise in everything, and so it's not really a surprise that, you know, up to 1/3 of deaths are just misprescribed medicines to people, or, you know, mishandled medicines. 3rd house, though, is about environment, it's about our siblings, it's about a library, it's about greater information. And so we're just trying to open ourselves up to just greater information, that we have a greater knowledge, that we can look at things rationally. And we have to, you know, you kind of have to look at the elephant in the room. You have to say, so who's guarding information right now? I just was like watching I think a Jimmy Dore. There was one journalist, John Sachs, incredible guy, really going for the truth and calling it out. You know, he got shut up and silenced because we didn't want to hear that truth. So the moderator was like taking authority and silenced him for revealing that, you know, the United States, even though for all our democracy, we've been the most violent country in the world in the last 72 years. And it's like, whoa, we couldn't handle hearing that. You know, that doesn't mean I don't like this country, because I do. Look at all these great people here. And there's even some charts of the United States that have it as Virgo rising. Some have it as Sag rising. I'm not really sure. You know, I like the Vedic charts of it. It seems to make more sense to me that, like, when Trump got elected president, we got into Rahu Dasha. It makes a lot of sense, you know, that we sort of like lost our grounding, you know, as a nation. It's not his fault, you know, anymore than it's our whole, the way we do things, fault. You know, it's we've got ourselves a moon and Jupiter and Neptune all in your 7th house. So relationships are really, they're not going to be good for you unless they're spiritual. Any Virgo who's in a non-spiritual relationship, any Virgo rising especially, you are not going to dig it. And if you're more of an agnostic Virgo, that's okay, you know, but convinced atheists, I mean, get out of here. You know, don't eliminate the possibility that there could be some invisible source of help coming to you. I mean, I know there's some people that would say there is no babysitter. I get that. I understand that, and we have to kind of accept things as they are. And so I really appreciate the teachings of Byron Katie, who says, you know, reality is God. So if you don't believe in God, according to Byron Katie, you don't believe in reality. And about this new moon, about this full moon rather, I mean, it's going to be good for you. I see a lot of reward in it. I see you becoming more courageous, and I also see you getting some really important information that's stimulating. And I think, you know, they're gonna believe you. You know, it's like no one believed Noah there was going to be a flood until that door of the waters rose and the door of the ark went shut, and they're like, uh-oh. He was just a nutcase saying there's going to be a great flood until that happened. I was like, uh-oh. Anyhow, greetings Libra. Welcome to your horoscope. Let's talk full moon talk, sure. Okay, so that's like in the 8th house. It's very transformational. You're dealing with money issues a lot. You're one of the people that's primarily going to deal with money issues. In a lot of ways, I think in Western astrology, Libra's going to be rising around the time of the full moon on Tuesday morning. So, I mean, this is going to really affect you big time. I mean, that's my that's my take on it. So, you know, just keep yourself as grounded as possible. I was saying, you know, do some earthing, walk a little bit barefoot if you can. I mean, if there's snow or ice on the ground, I mean, that can be a little bit hard or difficult, but I find like taking a cold shower in the morning has really become comforting. Even if it is a little cold in my house or outside, it kind of wakes me up. It's like, okay, whoa, you know, and it's refreshing. And once I'm out, I feel warm. And so just doing that, and you know, Mars is sort of like been like a kind of a guiding light to you. It's like you have to take action. You can't be indecisive right now. You're going to have to take action. It's interesting. Okay. Well, greetings Scorpio, and welcome to your horoscope, and happy birthday to all the Scorpio friends I have having birthdays this week. Just hope you're doing good, and that this is a completely blessed time for you, and it should be. So this full moon will probably affect your partnership. If you're married and you're a Scorpio, or you're in a long-term relationship of some type, you're gonna feel it on your partner in some way. Yeah. So, you know, I think the best thing to do is always be patient. You know, because we've all got emotions and moods, and you know, I just saw something today on social media of a woman that was kind of burned by her boyfriend. I guess she had a boyfriend for 4 years, and I guess 3 of those years he had another girlfriend while it was all taking place. So I mean, there were two people happy until they found out about it, I guess, and then then there's like now there's like probably four people really unhappy: the boyfriend, then the two girls, and whoever knows them. At least three people unhappy. It's hard to being conscious in relationship. It requires real intimacy. It's not like being locked into some kind of dream. It's like saying, hey, let's just be here with each other. Let's not just distract each other with activities, but let's be here present to nurture each other's souls. That's what makes real relationship, and so as you go Monday night to sleep, and if you're with your partner that night, I would just say, hold each other tight, love each other wonderfully, look into each other's eyes, don't even hold each other right away, try to feel each other's presence and just kind of breathe with each other. That's the real work. That's what's going to make a difference in this whole game. And Mars, and there's an intense kind of lusty anger or things we don't have in our control with Mars in the 8th house, and we just have to just keep calm, keep peaceful while we go through this whole thing. Greetings, Sagittarius. Welcome to your horoscope. So, Jupiter's in Pisces. It's in Pisces in both systems right now. That's your 4th house. So, I mean, overall it's good. It's bringing you a sense of happiness. It's actually helping you ground down. It's like, let's just stay grounded. Let's not take on new activities. It's like one of the things that this modern world has gotten itself in a mess is most things we do require the exploitation of resources. And there comes to a point where there's no candy left in the piñata, kids. It's all gone. And we have to find other ways to be satisfied. Instead of being satisfied with things, let's be satisfied in our hearts, with each other. Let's love our families. Let's love our mother and our father and our brothers and sisters. Yeah, I know, I hear you. They could be toxic people. Well, sometimes you just love them out of far if it's like that, But eventually, let's get to a place where you can pick new mothers and fathers too. Pick people that ideally fit that role and give them gifts, In that way, you'll be honoring the principle. You can have adopted parents too. But I just want you to get into this link with what your roots are and identify with it on a more spiritual level. The full moon and the sun, they're in Dustana houses. They're in difficult houses, the 12th and 6th for you. So I'm just saying you're going to have to work for what you get that's good. And in that work, make good karma, and everything, all the blessings will come to you. Hello, Capricorn, and welcome to your horoscope. Boy, this has been quite a roll. So, I mean, you've got Saturn in the 2nd house. I mean, we could start right there. And it's like slow money. You might be doing good. You might be very well sustained. You might be all right. This full moon Monday night, early Tuesday morning, it could affect you financially a little bit. It's mostly going to give you kind of like a creative boost. You're going to get this creative hit, and it might involve your children too, something involving kids if you have kids, so keep close to your kids. But it's a time also where you just have to get yourself in shape, eat better, do more positive physical activity, because that ultimately will relieve depression and stuff better than drugs will in most cases. Very few people I know who are on pharmaceutical drugs are eating right and exercising. They're just like stuck, and that's an easy thing to just kind of flip a switch, and that's what we've become as a society. I need a pill, I need a shot, I need a switch, turned on, I need some candy. It's just like, hey, can we all just look at the root of why we have problems, and then we'll be doing better. And Capricorn, I think you're ready to do that. I think you're going to be gathering with really intelligent people. That's part of this horoscope for you this week, and I think those good friends are really going to help this week. Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to your horoscope. So, I mean, everything you're getting right now as an Aquarius, you're working pretty hard for. Nothing It reminds you of that song, "It don't come easy, and you know it don't come easy." I think it's Eric Clapton, someone who's a great proponent of free speech right now. You really, I think it's like we have to, you got to pay your dues if you want to sing the blues. And that's the truth. I keep thinking of my friend, I don't want to, Cameron Scott, because I know he's a musician, and he keeps working hard at his music and making stuff happen, and he's got that nice son in Dynista, that really helps. But like any of you Aquarians, you're going to be more out there. Like Scorpio rules the way you work, the way you're seen in public. And I was thinking of this gal that posts a bunch of stuff on social media, and it's often like, I don't know why she does this, but she likes to post pictures of sexy women with tattoos. That's like her thing. She knows who she is. I'm not going to call you out, but because I know deep down inside you're really a very sensitive person, and it's just interesting. So I'm just thinking how Aquarius will often use like sex as marketing in a weird way. It's like they're somehow comfortable with that. I'm not sure about anything. So some people are. People have very strong opinions about all of this. I'm just like kind of like an observer here. So this is what's happening. You get this right shampoo or right toothpaste, you're going to get everything, You come on to my website and I will coach you and you will be the master seducer. I mean, it's like, oh boy. Will that add up to real intimacy? And also it's like this full moon is going to affect you emotionally in a deep way. And might affect your parents, might affect your mom, might affect your house where you live in its function. So just everybody take note. Okay, greetings Pisces and welcome to your horoscope as we're winding things up. This week looks good. Why? Because Scorpio rules your ninth house, and the ninth house is the teacher, it's your father, it's a house of good fortune, it's a great house to travel, it's the ashram, it's spiritual institutions, it's other languages, other cultures, so it's just this plethora of information, and it's also a Jupiter-ruled house, so Pisces and Scorpio go really good together. I've known some Pisces-Scorpio couples. I've never been in that particular position, Well, never say, well, at least to my knowledge, anyhow. There's other ways. I might have been with people with Moon in Pisces or something, but it's just interesting to look at that. They're generally shy people, the Pisces, and so the moon's going to be full in your third house, and that's siblings. So this full moon eclipse could affect your siblings more. It could affect your neighbors more because it's neighborhoods. And Scorpio time, though, overall is like a blessing, and I think there's a lot of good blessings coming to you, Pisces. You're going to go direct in about, less than 2 weeks. Jupiter's going to go direct, and so in that sense, and it is in Pisces in both systems now, there's a real power here, the power of the guru, to alleviate suffering and bring us into the light. And I just want to thank all of you who subscribed, who've been really faithful viewers of the show, who share it with friends, who bring me comments and suggestions. I'm still learning, folks. I've been studying astrology for 40 years now, and I'm still learning. And I appreciate you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Please subscribe. Please share this on your posts. I love your comments. Keep them coming. I'm looking forward to being with you next week when they do this again on Kozmic 100.